Welcome to Run Free and Strong. My name is Reito. Today's video is a little bit different from our usual content, but it's something I've wanted to share for a while. Fueling during trail and ultra races. Let's have a little fun and start with a trivia question. What is the number one reason for dropping out of ultra races? That's right, the most prevalent reason for the dreaded DNF is bonking. Reflecting back to my first ultra race, the Yeti 100-mile endurance run in 2020, I bonked at 46 miles due to fueling issues, and although I recovered, I dropped out at 72 miles due to a lower back injury. Just past 46 miles, we're coming back to the Damascus aid station. We're at 10 hours and 11 minutes, and I'm seriously struggling. It's still raining, and I'm low on fuel, so definitely need some food here. Following my Yeti DNF, I completed 3 successive 100-mile ultras in the next 12 months, incorporating many lessons learned from that first ultra. Fast forward to the JFK 50-mile and the Lake Warmack 50K ultras in 2021 and 2022 respectively. I ran both races for time and finished the JFK 50-miler in 9 hours and 50 minutes, and the Lake Warmack 50K in 5 hours and 9 minutes. With almost no fueling during the races. Yes, I ran these 2 races as a keto athlete, and other than a handful of potato chips and a few gulps of Coke late in the races, I ran right through the aid stations with no fueling. Earlier this year, I ran 43 miles on a weekend recon of the Kodiak 100K course with a friend, again with no fueling, during 7 hours on day 1 and 6 hours on day 2. And just this weekend, I ran 3 loops of an 8-hour timed race in 2 hours and 50 minutes, yet again with no fueling. I have been on a keto-friendly diet for the past 3 years, and my personal experience has been nothing short of amazing. I'm able to confirm all the benefits of keto and then some. To summarize, we're running farther and faster, feeling better physically and mentally, and continuing to run injury-free with faster recovery. Having said that, nutrition and diets are personal choice. What works for me may not work for you. The key is experimenting, learning, and patience, and to be able to adapt and adjust to a particular diet so it works for you. I'll let you in a little secret. I'm not strictly keto. I'm what's known as keto-friendly, something I share with other endurance athletes, including elite ultra runners Jeff Browning, otherwise known as Bronco Billy, and Zach Bitter. We'll come back to their experience in a bit. Train high fat, low carb, and race with carbs. Before we get into the what and why of a keto diet, we'd like to share a hack that we believe is the best way to approach incorporating a keto diet into our training and racing. Research shows that transitioning to and maintaining ketosis is beneficial to training for endurance athletes. How about racing and harder workouts? The hack that we have successfully used is to train in a state of ketosis and incorporate simple carbs to fuel and supercharge our races. Why? Because research shows that we're able to more efficiently convert carbs to energy when in ketosis. That was my JFK 50-mile and Lake Warmack 50K experience, as well as my already mentioned more recent experience training and racing. Both Jeff Browning and Zach Bitter train and race using this hack. To better understand the benefits of a keto diet and how to maximize the benefits both while training and racing, and to run farther and faster than we think is possible, let's dive into the science behind high-fat, low-carb diets. Please keep in mind that I'm sharing my personal experience, that I'm not a dietitian or nutritionist, and therefore I would advise you to consult with a medical expert about your diet. Keto and high-fat, low-carb diets. First, let's acknowledge that combining keto and running is a controversial topic. Some experts believe that the body needs glucose for endurance running, while others say runners benefit from using fat as fuel. Although keto's been around since the 1920s, when it was used to treat epilepsy, and it has exploded in the last 15 years, there's not much research, and what there is sometimes inconclusive or contradictory. A high-fat, low-carb diet involves a carbohydrate intake of less than 20 to 30% of daily calories, while a fat intake comprises approximately 50 to 70% of daily calories. Reduced carbohydrate intake triggers the liver to produce ketones, shifting the body's energy source from glucose to fats. Ketones are molecules produced by the liver during the breakdown of fatty acids, basically to serve as an alternative fuel source for the body whenever glucose or sugar is limited or unavailable. Adhering to a strict keto diet means consuming no more than 50 grams of carbs per day, whereas a more reasonable and practical keto-friendly diet means 100 to 150 grams of carbs per day. Why is fat a more efficient and plentiful source of fuel? There are a few research-backed facts that we'll share during the video. Here's the first one. A pound of body weight contains about 3,500 calories in fat stores, whereas a person's entire body contains about 1,600 calories from carbs in skeletal muscle and 400 calories in the liver from glycogen. To put these fuel sources in context, an average person burns more than 10,000 calories during a 100-mile ultramarathon event. It's challenging, if not impossible, to continuously fuel and not develop a calorie deficit, hence the risk of bonking in an ultra race. It should be noted that to be fully fat adapted, where the body is using fat as its primary fuel source, can take 4 to 12 weeks. During that period of adaptation, performance may suffer, and most athletes will transition during the off-season. How do I fuel? Before we describe the benefits of a keto diet, as well as address questions and concerns, we'd like to share what a typical daily meal plan looks like for me. Here's how I fuel. We'll start the day with a breakfast of eggs, bacon, a Greek yogurt, and maybe some berries. In the middle of the day, we'll prepare a couple of low-carb wraps filled with lettuce, tomatoes, avocado, and some type of meat and cheese. To end our day, we'll cook a hearty dinner of fish, chicken, pork, or beef. Keto-friendly means we can eat our bacon and cheeseburger on a bun, but no chips or fries, and enjoy a low-carb craft beer or glass of wine. If you're enjoying this content, please subscribe to help our channel grow. And while you're at it, hit that like button, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Thanks. Let's summarize the most important benefits associated with a keto diet. These can be categorized as performance benefits and health benefits. First, let's cover benefits related to performance, speed, strength, and recovery. The body's ability to make and use ketones is a decided advantage for the performance and health of endurance athletes. Research shows that athletic performance improves when the body uses fat as its primary fuel source. Also important is that regular endurance exercise is insufficient to maintain muscle mass or function if we consume a high-carb diet. High-fat, low-carb diets are protein and muscle sparing. Becoming fat-adapted on the keto diet means that your muscles need less oxygen, anaerobic running becomes easier. It also means you'll have less post-run muscle damage and soreness. Here's a second research-backed fact to remember. There are 2 additional benefits. We become metabolically flexible on a high-fat, low-carb diet, which means our bodies effortlessly change fuel sources to use what's available, whether it's fat, glycogen stores, or glucose. As mentioned earlier, this enables us to train high-fat, low-carb, but raise high-carb, and return to ketosis after racing. Several elite ultrarunners, including Jeff Browning and Zach Bitter, successfully use this approach. One of the concerns raised with a keto diet is that runners can go far, but not fast. Although additional research is required, a recent study compared high-performing and recreational athletes. The primary difference in performance is the rate of fat oxidation. All athletes had similar perceived exertion rates, or RPE, blood lactate, and carbohydrate oxidation rates. And here's a third research-backed fact to take away. The well-trained group had 3-fold higher rates of fat oxidation at high intensity. The study showed that the anaerobic threshold was higher in keto-trained athletes than athletes on a regular diet. Because of this, endurance runners on keto can run harder and longer by using fat and ketones for fuel. Health benefits including improved gut health, reduce inflammation, and normalize blood sugar. The keto diet can have positive effects on physical and mental well-being, including reducing the risk of diabetes, cancer, heart disease, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia, improving cognitive function, sleep quality, mood, and so on. There's an observation that many runners are fit but unhealthy, and that our diet should be an integral part of a holistic, healthy lifestyle. Dr. Philip Maffetone and Dr. Paul Larson authored an opinion paper based on research findings that highlighted that many runners are fit but unhealthy. Dr. Maffetone is known for having created the MAF method of low heart rate training or zone 2 training. And finally, the fourth research-backed fact. They make a very powerful argument that excess high training intensity or training volume combined with excess consumption of processed or refined carbohydrates, including sugars, can contribute to reduced health in athletes and even impair performance. Maffetone and Larson correctly highlight the alarming rate of injuries among endurance athletes and recommend working towards health and alleviate overtraining syndrome by lowering training intensity and removing processed and or high glycemic foods from the diet, which together enhance fat oxidation rates. Athletes should be fit and healthy. Examples of elite ultra runners. Jeff Browning, a veteran ultra runner, has been running on a high-fat, low-carb diet for the past 10 years. He has finished nearly 200 ultramarathons in his career, racking up over 40 wins, 29 of those at the 100-mile distance, making him second in the world for the most 100-mile wins in history. After his initial transition and reset, Browning maintained a high-fat, low-carb approach, but upped carbs from fruit and starches strategically timed around workouts and training volume and races. He's not strictly keto and consumes 75 to 200 grams of carbs per day. Still technically low carb, but not keto. Browning acknowledges that the shift to running on ketones yielded notable changes in his performance and endurance. Zach Bitter is an ultra runner who once held the records for the 100-mile distance and running for 12 continuous hours. For Bitter, the things that improved the most were 1. Sleep quality. 2. Energy became more stable throughout the day and during longer training sessions. 3. Fueling during longer training sessions. And 4. Races became easier, both logistically and digestively. Bitter advises adjusting carbohydrate intake based on different training phases, suggesting maintaining a balanced perspective on carbs and using them as a tool in moderation rather than avoiding them altogether. He recommends experimenting with new nutritional strategies during the off-season to find what works best. Let's wrap up the video with some key takeaways. For endurance athletes, fat stores in our bodies are more efficient and plentiful than carb stores for fueling. Athletes on a high-fat, low-carb diet become metabolically flexible and we use whatever fuel is available. Remember the keto hack. Train high-fat, low-carb, but race with carbs. Early research shows that elite runners outperform recreational runners 3 times in fat oxidation, enabling them to run not only farther, but faster. The combination of high volume, high intensity training with high carb, high sugar diets can increase the risk of running overuse injuries. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the somewhat different video content. If you did, please give it a like. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. If you're not already following, hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the next one.